welcome to the study challenge number 9 and the last of this cycle of short studies for beginners and intermediate players. Today, as the last study, I wanted to suggest study number 38 by Dotzauer, and it's from his advanced studies cycle. It's not really that advanced, but let's say it poses some challenges. And the reason why I gave it to you because it's all about the dotted rhythm. And dotted rhythm is something that lots of students, especially the beginners and let's say lower intermediate students, really struggle with. It's hard to give a really good rhythm and good feel of the sort of this dramatic rhythm that is required in that sort of articulation. What is really interesting about this study is that it covers various types of articulations in the dotted rhythm. So as you saw at the beginning, it mainly starts in legato and is in fact goes on for quite a long time, but at the end it switches to so-called hooked bowings when you play down, down, up, down, down, up, and at the very end of that fragment, the preliminary fragment I played, it switches to separate bowings. So as you go on, some of it is marked and some of it is left blank, which I think doesn't really mean that Dotzauer wanted you to practice it all separately, like from bar 28 onwards, but actually he wanted you to probably try different types of bowings. One of those he suggests in the first half of the piece. I think it makes a lot more sense to think of it this way, and you could either choose to play it all legato as the beginning, so and as you go on from the next fragment, so after I just stopped playing, you could just play or you could practice he wants you to really to choose. He suggests all those articulations, but it's kind of up to you or your teacher to choose the right one for you at the moment, or simply mix. And in fact, in the edition you will download together with that video, you will see that I suggest some bowings, a mix of various types of articulations, which you can, as I said, try separately on or exactly as I edited it. So when it comes to the legato in dotted rhythm, in a way that's really the easiest, but it needs just really strong left hand, because the whole rhythm and the feel of drama will come from sort of this really articulated left hand. So as you start, would be quite good to practice with just left hand. So we can really hear the action of the fingers on the string, or it's that rhythm of the left hand that will give the definition to the notes. And as far as the right hand is concerned, simply you need to keep it quite legato but not too heavy, and that should do the job. It kind of becomes a little bit more complicated when it comes to the hooked bowings. It seems easy, but the way it's normally written, as you can see, for example, in bar 17 and 18, there's a dot on the semiquaver, and lots of players confuse that. So they think if there's a dot, it means that I need to stop the bow after that dot, which in a way is logical. So you have a slur, but it doesn't really work because you then have a feeling of almost triplets. So it doesn't really give the real rhythm, and it's not really easy to play anyway. So traditionally, and this is the performance practice of those hooked bowings, is that you simply stop the bow after the long note. So if you play down, down, you stop after the first down. So the first note is actually the one that is separated. So you stop the bow, then simply prepare your semi-quaver, and it has to play down up straight in without any sort of break in between. So actually that dot, that staccato, is achieved by separating the note before and simply playing it with very short bow, but very much on the string. And this way it will sound stronger and better rhythmically. So I will present it one more time. Play the first note, dotted minim, dotted quaver. Then prepare your D sharp and go from D sharp down bow immediately to E up bow. Similarly, next one will be up down. So in real tempo it looks this way. As you see that semi-quaver to quaver, dotted quaver, T-tone, T-tone, it comes with a change of bow, but it doesn't come with any extra staccato. And that way you will retain the strong sense of rhythm and articulation, and that sort of staccato will be achieved by separating the note before. And really just articulating it strongly on the string without lifting the bow afterwards. It is a little bit similar with the separate bowing. So if you if you look at the fragment and play it, this is bar simply 19, but anywhere else later you can try that. So in bar 19 you have it is very similar in a sense that you lift the bow after long note, which is the dotted quaver. Then you prepare up bow semi-quaver and go straight to the down bow dotted quaver afterwards. So then you have to lift the bow after the dotted quaver, simply because if you don't do it, you will end up playing closer and closer to the point, so further and further from the heel. If you have a lot of them in a row, like let's say if you play from bar 29, you simply wouldn't manage that. So you have to shorten the dotted quaver by lifting it, but actually it also helps the sort of the ring of the sound. It helps the articulation because you can the sort of lifted dotted quaver simply resonates better if you start it well, but then you still hear it ringing. It adds in a way to the drama, and if you try to do it by simply saving the bow, it's not really the same. I mean, it's okay rhythmically, but it sounds a little bit dead. So you have to lift the bow, vibrating possibly if you can, bring the bow back to a similar place where you started, and to simply up, down, lift, prepare, up, down, down. And so it is similar to the hooked bowing, in a sense that you have that gap in between the notes, but in hooked bowings you don't actually lift the bow. So I would say hooked bowing is a lot easier than the one which is completely separated, because it saves you the sort of retaking action of the bow, which poses a different challenge, because you have to retake, come back to the place where you need to be prepared, and then start, and you need to fit it all in time. So there's quite a lot of work actually, and a lot of practice to make sure that you really start precisely, always sort of start from the string prepare. And obviously you use that bowing a lot in orchestras, and sometimes you simply need to play it separately, and for the drama when you play especially forte you will need that, but other than that, if it's not really forte, mezzo forte or mezzo piano, or simply a lot of those notes, very often it's more practical to just play it down, down, up, down. So hooked bowing is where you stop the bow, prepare the semi-quaver, dotted quaver, but without lifting the bow. So that sort of maybe just scratches the surface of the dotted bowings, and I may do a little bit more in the future on that. But I think it's a good introduction, it sort of covers various types of those, and I hope you enjoy that, you find it useful. And yes, I will wish you all the best with your practice, and perhaps we meet again in a different cycle of studies or technical exercises.